Hello everyone, so I'm here today to discuss my 3 favorite film genres and 3 films from each of them. I'm not like gonna analyze all the films, you know, I'm just gonna give you like a basic reason why I think you should watch them. But yeah. So, my favorite 3 films are the Depression era trio. And like, I'm so sorry if you're one of my friends watching this and you've literally heard me say my 3 favorite film genres are the Depression era trio. It's like the biggest like film nerdy thing to say. Now the 3 genres that came out of the Depression that I characterize as my favorite are the Hollywood musical, the screwball, and the gangster film. Now, while all 3 of these were rooted in the Great Depression and began in the Great Depression, I wouldn't say that like the only films I like in them are in the Great Depression. Quite the contrary. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go down the line and give you some things, some movies I feel you should watch in relation to these genres. So number 1 is the Hollywood musical. Now, when I think of the Hollywood musical, I think of, you know, Busby Berkeley, big, grandiose, huge numbers, filming on a soundstage, bunch of chorus girls, a chorus line, you know? And then later on, you know, you have like the Fosse-esque kind of musical. So number 1 is Meet Me in St. Louis. It's a Judy Garland, Vincent Minnelli, MGM picture. MGM talking movie. It's a pretty basic story, you know, and it's often like cited as, you know, it's a pretty basic film, and honestly it's often used in the argument that Hollywood doesn't really say much and that they like just create escapist, you know, cinema, which I don't necessarily see as a bad thing. You know, you take both, you know, you need escapist cinema just as much as you need, you know, neo-realist cinema or cinema that's hitting the nail on the head in terms of social constructions and issues. I am just obsessed with Meet Me in St. Louis. It's one of my feel-good films. It's up there with Singing in the Rain. I think more people should watch it though, because, you know, I just think it's really good. It's really wholesome and it's the cutest. And to kind of like, you know, boil it down in the genre, it's a quintessential MGM Hollywood musical film. So my number 2 pick for the Hollywood musical is Gold Diggers of 1933. Now Gold Diggers of 1933 is rooted in the Great Depression, and it deals with so many things in the Great Depression, such as, you know, class, the role of women, veteran displacement coming out of World War I. You know, it really, you know, it's an example of a musical that serves in escapism and deals in escapism just as much as it confronts the issues of the era, which is a really important thing with the musical because so many people just chalk the musical up to a vapid genre. However, I don't think anything can be further from the truth, and Gold Diggers of 1933 proves that. So number 3 in the Hollywood musical is Sweet Charity. I didn't pick Cabaret because not that I don't like the movie version of Cabaret, I just feel like I like some of Bob Fosse's other stuff a little bit more, especially with like, you know, having a really close connection to the theatrical version for a really long, many years, you know, since like, you know, middle school on, you know, so yeah. I picked Sweet Charity. You have some amazing numbers, and you know, Sweet Charity is one of the first musicals to kind of start to redefine what the musical was and start to, I guess, separate away from this kind of like studio system kind of movie picture, I suppose. 2 numbers in particular that I love of Bob Fosse's, 2, like, well, honestly 2 of my favorite, 2 are probably like my top 3, you know, 2 out of my top 3 of Bob Fosse numbers ever is Big Spender and Rich Man's Frug, and I just think, you know, the way Bob Fosse plays around with the musical genre is really interesting. I think a lot of the redefining of the musical genre began with Sweet Charity, and a lot of people just kind of credit it to Cabaret, but Sweet Charity is really important to watch in terms of the musical genre, and yeah. So those are my 3 for the Hollywood musical. Now moving on to my 3 for the screwball. Now all 3 of these are also rooted in kind of the 1930s, 1940s era Great Depression, because, you know, the screwball, it's something where you like see people replicating it, you know, where you get that a lot in Coen Brothers films. You got that a lot with Howard Hawks movies going into the 50s, you know. Screwball is marked by a style of quick-wittedness and quick-pacedness. It deals with the battle of the sexes and the battle of class head-on. Going into the studio system, the really tightly controlled studio system with the production code, the screwball was this really significant technique to use, or like screwball-esque elements were really important to use because a lot of times filmmakers would set up an experience in film in which social issues were being dealt with head on, but they were being dealt with so quick-wittedness and so fast and with so much dialogue that it kind of slipped past movie producers. So the screwball is a significant genre in terms of cinema as a whole, especially American film. Looking at the screwball, my first example is My Man Godfrey. Oh my god, actually, My Man Godfrey. It is such a good film. It's hilarious. It's over the top. Honestly, it's the perfect screwball in my opinion. Carole Lombard is one of my favorite actresses of all time. William Powell is one of my favorite actors of all time. It's just such a good film to see. I think the delicate balance some people in Hollywood hit when trying to deal with social issues, and I think My Man Godfrey is a fantastic example. Now the second film is Some Like It Hot. I don't know if it's the perfect screwball, I don't have an answer to that, but I do think that Some Like It Hot really hits the nail on the head in terms of using the screwball techniques without necessarily being a screwball. I think Marilyn Monroe is a performer that is very underrated, and that she uses a lot of screwball techniques from the 30s in a lot of her films. Number 3 is It Happened One Night. Now when you look at most scholars, now they will say that It Happened One Night is the textbook example of a screwball. I just personally prefer My Man Godfrey, but I do think that It Happened One Night is really important. It is one of the first films to come out with that kind of style, so it's really significant to watch in terms of the screwball. It's also a riot and hilarious and wonderful, so just give it a look. Give it a little look-see, go to a night on the cinema town. The third genre is the gangster film. Oh my god, okay, as you know, I'm gonna do my Kingpin plug, which I won't do for the rest of my, I will stop soon and I'll start plugging other movies of mine, but Kingpin was a short I just came out with, and you can watch the trailer down below. All 3 of these films were super huge in developing Kingpin. The gangster film genre is super interesting to me. I love talking about it in terms of a feminine lens and a female lens, so yeah, just go ahead and take a look at that down below. Now to go into the 3 gangster film movies that I think are essential to watch in the gangster film genre from my personal opinion. The first one is Casino. Casino is the perfect gangster film, in my opinion. I think it's fantastic. I love how long it is. I love Joe Pesci. I love Robert De Niro. I love Sharon Stone. I love all the acts in Casino. I love the rise and fall in Casino. I am obsessed. It's perfect. It's the perfect movie. It's in a casino, which the casino aesthetic I am obsessed with. So honestly, Casino is the perfect movie. I like it way more than Goodfellas. I think Goodfellas gets a little boring in the 3rd act, that may be sacrilegious, but watch Casino. It's excellent. The second one is The Godfather. Now I also think The Godfather is a perfect gangster film as well. I also think it's a perfect film. The cinematography, the way the cinematographic quality kind of redefined the gangster genre from earlier iterations and from because you see the gangster film genre start in the 30s, then you see it kind of adapted and developed into film noir, which is gangster but not. And I feel like The Godfather was a perfect example of when the gangster genre was renewed with the new independent media push happening around the time of its release. And I think it's just an excellent film altogether. It is amazing. Now, I would say you should watch the other 2 parts too, because while this is also probably sacrilegious, I think that the trilogy is really good, including the 3rd one. I think it all ties in the story together very well. I would watch them separately though. Don't watch that weird edited together one. Don't watch that. Watch them all, how they were meant to be watched. Now, the 3rd and final gangster film that I want to recommend to you is The Public Enemy. Now, this is a gangster film rooted in the early iterations of the genre. It has James Cagney, it has Jean Harlow, it's just really interesting because it's one of the first times the gangster genre really started to develop and started to put the archetypes together. I'm also just obsessed with James Cagney and how he acts. Watching his method is so interesting, and you could really see it in The Public Enemy. And it's just a fantastic, just open and shut gangster film. It's very good, it's very well put together, and it's very historically significant. So those are my 3 favorite film genres and 3 films from each of them that I think you should watch. Do you agree or disagree in terms of the films I picked for the genres? What's your favorite genres? What are the 3 films from your favorite genres we should watch? Let me know down in the comments down below, and please like and subscribe. Check out Kingpin if you haven't already. I am very proud of it. I'm very excited about it, and yes. Okay, well, I will see you guys. I don't know what day today is. I don't know what day it is. 1 second. I will see you guys on Saturday. Bye.
Ay, ay, ay. Yeah. Listen to me carefully. These hoes are scared of me, don't wanna be